Welcome to the 30th episode of the Broken Pictures podcast / YouTube show where we talk about the top 3 things in pop culture that you might have missed this week.
Oh yeah, also, there could potentially be spoilers for your favorite TV shows, comic books, movies, really anything that you enjoy. Just so you know, you have been warned because this is
the FOMO Show.
Hey nerds, this is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
This is Quin.
Once again, we'd like to say thanks for joining us by YouTube or podcast. Hello to all of our new watchers or listeners in the States and internationally, and a special thank you to those of you who are returning. If you want to keep the conversation going or support the show, you can, of course, do that if you go to www.broken.picturesno.com, or you can find that information in the episode notes. Also, leave us voice messages or ask us questions that we can play on the show. To do that, you would go to www.anchor.fm/the FOMO Show to talk to us and leave those messages. YouTube viewers, please like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon
Ding.
for notifications of new videos. Podcast listeners, please leave us 5 stars in your podcast app.
Yes.
Boom, baby.
APP.
All right. So spoiler warning in case you didn't catch Quin at the very beginning, just to double down on it, we are going to get into some spoiler territory. Not going to spoil your favorite fandoms on purpose, but we will talk about newsworthy items.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I have a special note.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Macaulay Culkin. You turned 39 yesterday.
39. I was like 20. He's basically my age. That's crazy.
He's with you. He was 9 when he filmed Home Alone. Home Alone came out in 1990.
Oh, man, I wasn't born yet.
Happy birthday, Macaulay Culkin.
She was reading me some interesting fun facts about him.
love looking at the Did You Knows on IMDb, the little trivia quotes, and there were some really funny ones for Home Alone. I suggest you go read them.
One of my favorites.
Definitely don't miss.
One of my favorites was that Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
Yeah.
That played the Sticky Bandits. Or the
Wet Bandits.
The Wet Bandits on Sticky
Marvin,
Bandits is part 2. Yeah. They didn't think the movie was going to be very good or anything. It was just paycheck, so they were hamming it up like the whole time, and that turned to really play into the movie and made it so much more fun. And Joe Pesci couldn't stop cursing, so they had to make him start saying fridge instead of the F word. And he actually bit Macaulay Culkin's finger and left a scar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's Joe Pesci. I'm out here with this kid.
But other than reading interesting trivia on IMDb, I watched, of course, some more of The Office. Just breaking my heart every time I accidentally miss an episode. Like, a lot of times I'll fall asleep because it's not because I'm not enjoying it.
She literally puts it on to go to sleep.
I may or may not.
And shower and makeup and live her life.
Yeah, pretty much all of it.
It's like her theme song.
Yeah, it's literally just playing in the background of my life.
The whole series is her theme song.
Yeah, I've started to look at the camera like kind of oddly.
I'll say something rude and I'll get a Jim look from her.
Or I'll scare him and then I'll look at the camera. Like, yep. Pranked. Boom roasted. We watched The Boys. We watched Alita Battle
2 episodes
Angel.
left. Yeah, Alita Battle Angel.
You got 2 episodes
Of
left.
The Boys.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Miss or don't miss on these things. The Boys, of course, don't miss with precautions because
Super.
it's very adult.
Don't let the superhero thing fool you.
Yeah, literally, what I say last week,
not
I was
Marvel.
like, it's not for
It's actually closer to DC.
any mentally unstable people. Like, you gotta be of sound mind when you watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like mentally unstable people with superpowers. And them trying to stop them. Don't miss that. Of course, an Alita Battle Angel, I was super excited about, and I made an unboxing video for it. I'll post that on YouTube, so look for that. But I think it's got cult classic potential.
It does.
For sure. But like the first watch, I was just kind of like, there was just, I mean, had I realized, like, I don't know why I didn't know this going in or remember this going in. Robert Rodriguez is the director.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, okay, I'm on board. But I didn't realize, all I knew was like James Cameron produced and all that kind of stuff, which is why I came out in 3D. Woo! But yeah, there was a lot of like things just like the long way around to tell the story.
Because it did something that other movies that are like it didn't do. It's just because Aaliyah Battle Angel, I mean, y'all, I think I told y'all once before, like it used to be, it's an anime, it's a manga.
Right.
And so they use that way of storytelling because mangas go the extra long way to tell stories. And they did, and it hasn't always worked in like American markets because Pacific Rim kind of was like that, but it wasn't a manga. But since everybody that worked on it was actually like a fan of it, and they used the source material and everything, and they were able to tell the story in a different way, but the same way it should have been told. So it was good.
Like more long form kind of.
From like a straight movie viewer, well, I used to be, but I did not like it as I was watching it. But even when I wrote it down, I was like, oh yeah, that was a good one. So in my head, it's like, it was an enjoyable movie. It wasn't one that you sit down and try and solve or figure out or, you know, look for any symbolism or deeper meaning or anything. It just was an interesting watch.
It was fun for sure. Like that world and kind of like the, almost like Mad Max meets Blade Runner type thing.
Yeah.
Meets
But yeah,
Terminator.
I think it's definitely worth a rewatch.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely, I wouldn't miss it. I would watch it.
Yeah, at least for the first time.
Yeah.
And I've been watching a lot of trailers for D23 stuff.
What about y'all?
Me. Well, really just me. I don't know what they watch when I'm not there. I've watched Glow.
Paw Patrol.
Hey.
Most likely.
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Yep, the third season, which there wasn't as much wrestling in this season, and it made me a little sad. Not the fact that it wasn't wrestling, just because it got deep and dark, and it didn't really get dark, but it went into so like, I mean, y'all know, like in the 80s, like, you know, AIDS and everything coming out, like it went into that, and like what's it called, the LGBTQ like equality and things like that, and yeah, and
a little bit more political.
A little bit more political, and then also, you know,
other than Trump coming out.
Yeah. And like everybody, hair, you know, not treating women equally. And one of the characters, like, he was married and everything, and he turned, like, last season he found out his best friend was gay, and then like he died from having
spoilers.
Yeah, well, we said we were.
Yeah, we said it twice.
And he died from having AIDS, and then he's like, why was he gay? I don't understand why he was gay. And then he ended up having a thing with him and his wife and the other dude, and another dude. And he's like, well, I liked it, and I know I'm going to do it again. And he didn't know how to deal with that. So yeah, it got real. I was like, man, this is way too real for me.
It's a little bit more like a soap opera.
Yeah, it's a different type of wrestling going on.
This is a wrestling show.
Wrestling. That's what
Gonna
Mom
go
and Daddy be
wrestle my
doing in
buddy.
there.
But wrestling fan or non-wrestling fan, I think everybody can enjoy Glow, and I think no one should miss it, because it's a show that made me rethink a couple things.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this you coming out of the closet, Quin?
No? What?
I'm just kidding. You said rethink a couple of things.
Oh,
just
my
how,
goodness.
like, I mean, I wasn't alive during the 80s, so I didn't realize how, like, it's, every time I think of the 80s, like, it always seems like very colorful, happy.
The fun part.
The fun part.
The Reaganomics part.
Yeah,
there,
but then
right?
I'm like, oh, 80s was real too, dang.
Yeah, that's why, like, watching Stranger Things, like, I was like, why aren't they talking about, like, Lucas is seeing a white girl? Like they would be getting, like, bricks and drinks thrown on them, and, like, yeah, they would be insane.
They had a drag ball, and they set the building on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the movie Remember the Titans, where it's like just because he was a black coach, like he like dealt with all these assaults. That was the 60s. That was 20 years earlier, but in the 80s, it was still a lot going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
But don't miss Glow. And then I've just been doing D&D stuff, trying to stay ahead because I don't want to keep doing things week by week. All right, and that's about it. That's it. And the number one movie of the week is Angel Has Fallen, right?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Did you forget?
No.
It's on there.
Yeah. Angel Has Fallen. Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, Jada Pinkett Smith. Am I missing
I
anybody?
didn't know she was in that.
Yeah, she is. She's the FBI agent that's like, no, you tried to kill the president. And Gerard Butler's like, I didn't try to kill the president. But yeah.
This is Sparta.
And she's like, no, it's not. This is a hospital. So
this is one of the series that before I knew it was going to be a series. Of course, there was another one that was very similar that came out at the same time. I ended up I hate it when I ended up getting on the wrong train.
Oh.
Like I watched that one.
You watched White House Down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not this one.
Olympus's Fall. No. Yeah. Olympus's Fall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I meant to watch both of them, but I just never got around to it.
Because
and then there was
movie.
and then there was another one, and I was like, wow, this is a blip. And now that there's a third one, and it's number one in the box office this week. It's doing well, and it's rated R.
Yeah.
So like last week was a rated R comedy. This week is a rated R action movie.
The Good Boys number one?
Yeah. Yeah.
My boys.
So I mean, like, that's a big deal, especially for like original content. I mean, I know there's not a Disney film out this week or whatever, but I mean that's good. That's a win.
It is a win. When the first one, when Olympus Has Fallen came out, I didn't watch it like right away, but my aunt watched it, and she said she kind of like curled up into a ball because it's like that was too real for me.
Oh Lord!
Just because like North Korea playing nice, then they get invited to the White House, and then coup. They staged a coup, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's terrifying.
Manchurian Candidate stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that freaks me out. Like the whole Manchurian Candidate sleeper cell. So, yeah. Whoa.
We just terrified ourselves, so we have to go.
Sorry.
We have to go like watch some anime or something.
Y'all should watch Cannon Busters. It has the best soundtrack of anything.
Cannon Busters?
Yes.
I don't know that one. I've never heard that one.
It just came. It's on Netflix. It just came out. It's basically this guy with an afro. He's immortal. Every time he dies, he comes back to life, but then there's another number that pops up on his body that shows the number of times he's died.
Huh.
And he has two robots. One of them, she's looking for a prince, but she's a friend robot. And like when she befriends you, if you're in danger, she turns into what's called a cannon buster. Like her hair turns up, it glows pink. She just like pink flame cape, and then she turns into some weapon to annihilate whatever is trying to hurt you.
Is this live action or anime?
It's an anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you started talking about it, I was like, wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure he prefaced with that, though.
Did he?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I missed that part. I'm sorry. I was like,
all right.
Hair grows. It's like, is this Scott Pilgrim?
I mean, it's the closest live action anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is a badass movie. All right, the top 3 in pop culture this week actually is a D23 special because, I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on this week, and we had to kind of decide what to watch, or not to what to watch, but what to talk about, because we got the VMAs last night. We got, I mean, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, just
right
the VMAs.
Yeah, just the VMAs.
There's just a lot going on.
There's
a lot of Netflix announcements, a lot of stuff going on. But
Yeah.
D23 is more.
Yep, for sure.
D23 is like, apparently it covered about
hijacked everything.
50% of the things we talk about here.
Yeah.
So
We're going to get into a long spiel about it anyway. Why not make it our focus of all 3?
For sure.
All right, so where are we starting? Are we starting with...
Number one is going to be just D23 in general. And so basically this was like them parading out the Disney Plus streaming service, because it comes out in November. They've even got a package deal. It's like, I want to say it was like $14.99 a month for Hulu,
Disney,
YouTube, Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus.
Yep, it's $14.99,
which is not bad. It's definitely competitive.
It's
Netflix and everything else. Yeah,
our Netflix just came out. It was $14.22.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
literally.
Yeah, and you're getting 2 other services. That's insane. So really excited about that. Not to mention everything that is going to be. We mentioned it a little bit last week. I don't know why, but Apple TV Plus is coming out the same month, which really seems like a misstep to me, especially because Apple's like, by the way, we got a couple shows, and it's like, like here's Apple like show, here's Disney like shows.
Hey, y'all remember Yahoo Screen?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting anyone to say, yeah, I remember that.
She's still got a Yahoo email account.
Okay. I still use it. That's the problem. It's not that it's out there like a MySpace. I actually use it. I give people my Yahoo.
Okay. I was expecting someone to say anything, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be like Yahoo Screen. But it's probably not.
Yeah, because it's Apple, they're not going to go away.
A little bit different.
A little bit different.
They got some good content. They're actually starting to show a little bit after D23's calmed down, maybe.
We talked about it last week, the morning show, so.
Yeah, I looked that up. So D23, a lot of content. Not everything is Disney Plus, but let's see. We've got a new Pixar movie coming out called Soul. And it's going to star Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey.
As voices.
As voices, obviously.
Because it is animation.
Yeah. And they look like kind of like little, they showed like what the characters would look like, and they're kind of like little ghosts.
Very Inside Out-ish Pixar
like Kirby
feeling.
Looking like green, goopy, slimy looking.
I didn't think they were Kirby looking necessarily.
Like bubbly looking kind of thing.
They looked more like when
I think Inside Out was a good
Huffalumpa Puff or whatever that was on the little thing on the elephant on Inside Out when he was like fading into the forgetful thing. That's kind of what they look like. Kind of what they made me think of.
That's good.
That's probably where they got that idea.
Probably.
It's like, oh hey, let's just do that, but
He's
the whole
a ghost
movie
now.
Yeah. So we're trying to get better about our format. So I'm going to go ahead and read these things off, and then we'll discuss and get into it.
Cool.
Because I think I kind of messed myself up right there because I wanted to talk about it too. All right. So then we got Onward with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland starring. Raya and the Last Dragon. Not a whole lot of info on that. We got a little image. Cruella, more villain-centric. A standalone film with Emma Stone. Lizzie McGuire coming back with Hilary Duff. The Lady and the Tramp live action going to be on Disney Plus. Cruella's not going to be on Disney Plus eventually, but theater release. The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And that's all I got written down. There's probably tons of other things that I'm missing. Big hearts to Jeff Goldblum. Who, hey,
I'm hearting Jeff Goldblum and all of that, but then you get to Lady and the Tramp and it cracks.
Yeah. Which is ironic because it's amore.
Gag me with a spoon.
The cute thing, though, is that all the animals were rescue animals.
Which is very cool. Yeah. Very, very cool. Do not get me wrong.
When did the original Lady and the Tramp come out?
Oh, gosh. It's okay.
It came out after Aristocats, I believe, but...
it was pretty old. Lady and the Tramp, the original, is not listing here. 1955.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rescue animals didn't exist.
Animals weren't even
That was still when
domesticated yet.
it was like socially acceptable to toss puppies in the creek.
I was definitely going with like the lighter, older thing of like they're not even domesticated; they're just still wolves. I'm really excited for the Cruella, very Maleficent type.
Yeah, definitely taking that track where you know it's like it's a variant on the original story. Well, I think really, like to be honest, and I mean I know you're down with this because you love Maleficent. Like I think that should be like where they live in their live action movies, you know, instead of just like here's a complete remake of everything you loved when you were a kid, only different.
We don't want any more Aladdins. We want Cruella. We want Maleficent. We want things like that because we are 100% that.
Yeah, even though they're still going to do Aladdin because it made $1 billion.
Yeah,
it might even be getting a sequel. Return.
I think the. Do King of Thieves and call it a day.
Interesting. I liked Return of Jafar though.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean the cartoon? Yeah. We all did.
The sequel. Well, he said King of Thieves.
We all liked all of the original.
I know. I just had to stand up for my favorite. I'm sorry.
No, sit down.
Have y'all ever seen what is it called? It's on the Disney Channel. It's the movies like the Descendants.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of along that. It's like the kids of all the villains, but the kids are being heroes.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen like
it's like Runaways, kind of.
Yeah.
Like Marvel's Runaways.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's an interesting concept, but it's not my age group.
Yeah. I get that. I understand.
It's definitely targeted towards the kids.
Yeah. Rip Camera boys.
And also, have y'all know what y'all's know what Cruella's
Is this a Popeyes commercial?
No. Cruella's like full name, like a couple years ago I was like, wait, oh my gosh, that's what her name actually is. Like her name's
Cruella
like
DeVille?
Cruel Devil.
Yeah.
I did for a long time. I didn't know that.
Oh, I definitely got
Italian
that when I hit like.
I was kidding.
What does that have to do with
I'm
anything
just
with
saying random crap
when I was
today.
like 20 and I rewatched it on TV and I was like,
I was today years old.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it took me a long time though. Definitely didn't get that when we were kids.
Yeah. So, but the interesting take on this is that it is 1970s punk rock style. Yeah, in London. So it's like, this is a really cool take.
Cool, yeah.
And I really wish it was like directed by Guy Ritchie. That would be perfect, but I don't think it is.
I really like how they're doing those types of movies because if you watch Maleficent, the first Maleficent, because we're getting another Maleficent, it wasn't necessarily told from like to justify her thought process or do anything like that or like make her look like a good guy.
Yeah.
But the second one is even gonna be more like what is it called? Like the Dark Witch or something like that. I'll have to look again. What the new Maleficent movie that's coming out is called?
Mistress of Evil.
Yeah. So it's not painting her as a good guy.
Yeah.
And I'm about that because
the first
Cruella DeVille was always my favorite villain because like she's still really cool and has like super cool style and other than the Medusa from the Rescuers Down Under, or not Rescuers Down Under, but the regular Rescuers.
Yeah,
that was my only other
looking.
favorite. Yeah, because she's smoking the cigarette on the pointy thing and she's pulling her fake eyelashes off. Like, she got style. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, of course, you know they won't do that anymore. No smoking in Disney films. They're strict on that.
Isn't she holding one? Is she not holding one in the thing? Oh no, I'm about to be so
so
mad.
like even like all Disney properties, no smoking. They're strict on that. Like so much so like in the first Iron Man movie.
Dang it.
Nope, she's just holding
The first Iron Man movie, Jeff Bridges' character is holding a cigar but not smoking it.
Oh, huh? Okay.
Yeah, they're hardcore.
What else?
That's a Bob Iger thing from the very top.
Real quick, what was the name of the Chris Pratt Tom Holland movie?
Onward.
Onward?
Yeah, this is super cool. It's like they're living in a D&D world. Like they're yeah, exactly. So they're basically like elves and trolls and all these things live in this world, kind of like Zootopia.
Or kind of Smurf is what it gave me the sense of. Like kind of mushroom cap.
Because they're blue?
Well, their houses look like little mushrooms.
Did they?
Well, they kind of look similar.
So it's kind of like a Zootopia thing where except it's the D&D characters, animals or whatever, living in a modern type world. And Tom Holland's character is kind of like he's a video gamer, he's a shut-in, he's a inside guy. And Chris Pratt's character is like the outgoing college guy that's trying to get his friend more involved. He drives a van, and so he takes his friend out and they go on this big adventure, and it's like a D&D quest type thing. Aww. So it's kind of cool looking.
That's cool.
That's what I got from it. But
I am super excited to watch it, not only because I love Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, but Chris Pratt's character is very Andy-esque.
Yes.
And so I'm about it. Exactly.
Except that I look creepy because I have dark hair and pale skin. The Grim Reaper.
That's great.
So let's see. You want to comment on Lizzie McGuire, Lydia?
I just have a couple of questions. Why?
That's bad.
I mean,
that Disney Plus money. That's why. Because she always said she would never return.
Right.
And apparently, like you said, her last thing was.
She did. She had a show on the new version of ABC Family on Freeform or whatever. It was a Freeform show. I'll have to look it up.
Oh, I remember seeing a trailer for that.
Yeah, I just want to know: is Gordo coming back? If Gordo doesn't come back, nobody cares. Okay, we never cared about Lizzie.
Where's
it
Gordo
was about
anyway?
Gordo.
Why wouldn't Gordo come back? Unless he's doing like a Rick Moranis thing where he's like, "Hey, I'm quit to be with my family" type thing.
I don't know. Younger was her other show.
Oh,
there was I saw on it was like I'm flipping through Amazon Prime or whatever. She had a movie recently where because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood kind of covers the Charles Manson thing and who was his top lady that did all the killing for him and everything. She was like a movie star that got turned to the dark side.
I know who you're talking about, but
I can't think of her name. But she's got a movie where it's like a biopic and she plays her. Yeah, so it's like, whoa, she like that's got to get dark.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
It's real dark.
I didn't hear a single word y'all said. I'm sorry. So I have no comment.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
I want to hear more about Raya the Last Dragon. Like what?
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh, and the Last Dragon.
Basically,
so is this like a Pete's Dragon thing?
I don't know. Like there was like a screenshot. And it was like almost like somebody had taken their phone and screenshotted the thing. And it was like this little girl sitting on top of a dragon. It almost looked like a China type scenario.
I feel like I saw something, but I
only...
can't remember.
From the Crazy Rich Asians directors.
Oh, that's good. Oh man, that's good.
We still haven't seen that.
It's like just here's my money. Crazy Rich Asians was so good.
So there's a concept art thing, and it's like can't really tell what it's.
I feel
so it's like a little.
Yeah,
it's
a photo with birds chirping behind it.
It might be a folktale that they probably adapted because
it looks interesting. I like what I see,
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to be a Pixar thing or if it's. I think it looks like a Pixar.
Probably closer to Pixar versus anything else.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, that's great. All right.
So that's pretty much it on our D3 in general. Now we're going to get into the
D3?
D23
I was like,
in general. So number 2, we get into the juicy stuff. D23 Marvel. Boom. Like hold that up straight. Boom. So we just stick around. Number 3 is going to be Star Wars. So there's enough content to make it its own thing. You gonna pick that up later, right?
I'm trying to put it in your cup.
It's got a lid on it.
So some ballers don't quit.
Yeah, y'all should, if you're listening by podcast, turn on the video and at least see how awesome and curly Lydia's hair is today.
I let my wildness out. No, I'm just kidding. This is not my
Yeah,
natural
she
hair.
drank her poodle juice last night and woke up. And...
It's humid AF outside. I'm just kidding.
All right, so
Marvel.
all right, so let me read off the topics and then we can get into them. All right, so of course the Spider-Man Sony deal, Eternals news, Kit Harington in the MCU, the new WandaVision poster, the new Falcon and the Winter Soldier poster and casting, the new Black Widow poster and teaser, the new She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and Ms. Marvel shows on D+.
D+.
That's what she said.
Beat me to
Disney
it.
Plus. So, first, I just want to touch on the Marvel Sony thing. That's all the things I can think of. If you guys think of anything else, let us know in the comments below, and we'll chat with you about that.
Well, I mean, it's far away, but it's Black Panther 2.
Black Panther 2. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's like probably going to be like phase 5, or it just continued.
2021.
2022.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw something on Twitter that they said it was gonna be May 6th, 2022, but they don't normally like release actual dates.
They did. There's a photo.
Is it really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
that's what. Yep. Yeah, I remember now.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a definite big miss because that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to touch on the Sony Spider-Man deal. I did a video last week when this first came out, and there's so much information going on, misinformation out there about this whole thing. I mean, hashtag boycott Sony is a thing. Everybody's Sony hating, but it looks like that it might actually be Disney's fault because of just all this deals and all this stuff and all this misinformation going around. It looks like they were negotiating, and somebody leaked it to try to get fan
favor.
Yeah, fan favor on their side in negotiations. And it just blew up. It all backfired and basically screwed the whole thing.
Okay.
Because Sony has leverage with getting Oscars with Into the Spider-Verse, and Venom being a surprise hit, and then working on Morbius, and they've got all these other things they're wanting to do with the crossovers with Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, all this kind of stuff. But and then it looks like Marvel or Disney might have been more greedy than necessary, and a lot of people are like putting their fingers on Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige, but actually Amy Pascal isn't head of Sony anymore. It's Tom Rothman, I think. Excuse me. And she is one of the ones with Kevin Feige that made this deal in the first place, that got it going, that excited about it, and really, really like carrying the flag for it.
Amy Pascal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's one of the good guys in this, even though in the past you can say what you will about her. But it looks like Disney just kind of offered him a deal that was too much or whatever, and half of everything and this and that. But I mean, we're not going to get into that because there's even misinformation about that, like that some people are saying Disney wanted 50-50, and some people saying, and then there's a 70-30 number out there, whether or not that's what Sony countered or Disney countered after Sony turned it down or whatever. It's confusing, and it's very confusing, and a lot of people are saying that that negotiations are still ongoing. Other people are saying that it's over. Even words coming from Tom Holland and Kevin Feige are looking like this is a done deal. They got to tell the story they wanted to tell. it's over. But
there are so many funny memes going around about it. Either way.
Yeah,
They're
it's so
just so
rich
funny.
right now.
Somebody actually put a Spider-Man memorial up at Disney World. Like on the side.
D23.
Yeah.
And there was a Spider-Man going around saying, "Hey Marvel, just let me be in," or "Hey Disney, just let me be in the MCU."
Oh.
There was one where Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland were at the hanging post, and he was like, "Oh, first time here, kid." It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the one
from the James Franco one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the Pizza Time one. It's like when you remember you're the only one with a trilogy.
Yeah.
From what it looks like, negotiations could potentially still be ongoing. Now, these things are all things that should have been happening behind closed doors and going back and forth. That's what negotiations are, because people are like, "Oh, well, Disney is just asking for too much. They're being greedy." That we as people who are not in, we got a stake in the deal, we're fans or whatever, but we're not paying for anything. We're just enjoying the fruits of their labor. All this stuff should be behind closed doors. We shouldn't be privy to this stuff, especially because it's going back and forth, and it's, you're playing hardball. You're dealing with $1 billion franchise. Like, there's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah.
And some people are saying, they'll work it out because there's too much money on the line not to. But at the same time, both of them have enough leverage to walk away, and that's what is kind of scary about it.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland is still on the hook. His contract for like 2 more Spider-Man movies, and he's kind of like him and Zendaya unfollowed Sony on Instagram when all this first went down, and he posted photos of him and RDJ hiking together and with each other's action figures and all that kind of stuff. But he still said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to go forward and we're going to make these movies even cooler somehow." And he's trying to be positive and just do his job.
Sad about
yeah,
it.
Exactly. I mean, he's still, and it really sucks because he still wants to be Spider-Man. He's a great Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and that's why everybody's so upset about it and all this kind of stuff. Of course, I don't have to tell you if you're watching this, but there's still plenty of time because Phase 4 doesn't have a Spider-Man in it. And yeah, we've got Venom 2 coming out. We've got Morbius coming out. But those will be Venomverse. Those are Sonyverse ones. Those are not part of the MCU in the first place. But there could still be a deal made in years, after all this cools down. It's probably they're giving it time right now because it's just too much right now. And I mean, especially if you're a lawyer and you're negotiating, you're just like, right now is not a good time because somebody's going to lose, and it's nobody's looking good. Somebody's going to get pissed off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. But on to other things that aren't so depressing. The Eternals.
The Kings of the North ride again.
Yeah. Jon Snow takes the black.
Again.
Yeah, and one of my favorite memes out there is where Rob in Game of Thrones is telling Jon, "The next time I see you, it'll be in all black." And of course, Kit Harington is playing the Black Knight, who's kind of an obscure character. I mean, people were kind of like thinking he was going to be a part of the MCU after Ant-Man and the Wasp, because there was like an Easter egg in the background. There's like a little castle in a bubble in the
quantum realm.
In the quantum realm or something. And then people were like speculating that he was going to be in Endgame, and that didn't happen. But he's a character it's like really obscure, and like even from what I was seeing on the internet, like even hardcore Marvel fans really don't know a whole lot about him. But but from what I understand, he does have connections to the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
And he apparently has a relationship with Cersei, which is also funny. Game of Thrones.
you said that, and my brain instantly went to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm very confused. Who's Cersei?
She's one of the main characters of the Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh, is that who the girl from The Walking Dead is playing?
No.
Oh, who's playing?
No, she's
Cersei?
actually like there's a lot of race and gender swaps going on with the Eternals.
much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I forget who's playing her.
I can't.
Gemma Chan.
Yeah, Gemma Chan, which is a retcon because she was a character in Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they're allowing
She
it.
was Minerva
Mhm.
in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, which is really recent.
She was also Minerva in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Huh.
yeah.
Don't like that.
So, I mean, yeah,
At least they're
that's
consistent.
that's kind of weird for a modern Marvel character to be
Swapped.
Yeah.
two people in the MCU and the
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. CU.
Yeah, it's happened before where people were on the show and then in the movie as different characters.
I don't like it.
Or even in Daredevil, like the guy that was the Buzzsaw character in the Daredevil was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too as a different character or whatever.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's like loosely kind of thing, but I mean, this is like MCU. This is probably one of the
Right.
first times. But apparently they love her so much. She's gonna look different, so you won't be able to tell. So I don't know how that
Be
works.
as blue.
Yeah. But yeah, the guy that plays Rob Stark,
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden,
Sorry about that.
he is going to be playing Icarus in the Eternals, which is, I think, like one of the main male characters. So the Black Knight is going to be like this romance with Cersei, who is like one of the main female characters. It's supposed to be this big epic that takes place over thousands of years. They're like the gods of the MCU, and Jack Kirby created and all this stuff.
Well, I'm sorry. All I can see now is just flipping Black Knight walking on a beach with a sword, looking out at a castle, and it's like, winter is coming. That's all I can see now. Like, that's it.
Literally no change. Jon Snow just is more Jon Snow
Exactly.
with
Yeah,
a
talk
couple
about
more
typecasting.
superhero entries.
Yeah, so like the night before they announced who he was, news hit that he had signed a contract to be in the MCU, and people were going nuts. It's like, oh, he's gonna be Wolverine. Oh, he's gonna be this guy. He's gonna be that guy. Turned out to be the Black Knight, and everybody's like, who?
Excuse
me. I mean, I don't question Marvel's casting ever.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
it's a
you
good
can't.
fit, obviously.
Yeah, but when the first second I heard, it was like, oh, cool. That's Doctor Doom. I'm really happy now. But it was like, it's not. And I was like, well, that's fine. That's okay. Keanu still can be out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And from what I understand, even like they've already teased this character out too in Doctor Strange, like one of the relics in his
would belong to the Black Knight.
yeah, like the ebony sword maybe or something like
I
that.
think it was his sword, which means he's gonna lose his sword. Which how did he lose his sword?
Maybe he was in the quantum realm, but it wasn't.
Or he got
And he
popped
picked it
and
up.
it went flying.
Whoa. So he's not an Eternal. He's a mortal character, right?
Yeah, he just lives kind of in the quantum realm, which that little castle.
Which explains why he could be in and out of time.
Mhm.
Okay. But his sword is more kind of like a lightsaber-ish type thing, isn't it?
Yeah. In some instances, I've seen some instances where it's just like a straight up black sword, but like you can pull it out hilt and it's just a regular blade.
So it's Lightbringer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So many references. All right, so that's our time. We're gonna hit on these very briefly, just because I spent a lot of it. All right, so the new WandaVision poster. So many freaking Easter eggs. We're gonna try to stay surface level on this, and we can get into it more in other content and stuff.
But if you haven't seen it and zoomed in and things like that, you should go back and see it.
For sure, lots of Easter eggs in the poster. New castings include, of course, we knew that adult Monica Rambeau was going to be in it. Teyonah Parris, I think is her name. And we're getting Kat Dennings from Thor. That's a weird crossover. Like, how are they in the same world? As well as Randall Park, who played the FBI agent from Ant-Man. So that's a weird crossover. And we're getting Catherine Hahn as quote-unquote a nosy neighbor. So it's like, I'm so interested in the weirdness of this, because there's a Tom King Vision comic run where like it's like Vision in the 50s and this nuclear family, and they got kids and all this stuff. So it's kind of like reminiscent of that, because the way it's been explained is that it is a 1950s sitcom type thing. Quinn looks like he's having a realization.
Okay, yeah, continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, but there's supposed to be almost like a Pleasantville type thing where there's this dark underlying thing happening and things spin out of control, and fans are speculating that we're going to get House of M elements that are going to end up creating the mutants. You're going to say more mutants instead of no mutants or whatever. Yeah, and plus this movie or this show is supposed to be the intro to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So
is this Disney Plus?
Yeah, this is a Disney Plus show.
The reason their shadows look the way they do, it's because they're basically the Incredibles. Like, they're heroes, but because we know Vision can make himself look like he's normal,
right, yeah.
And him and Wanda are just like living together and having a life. Then they go out and
I'm so excited. She's literally like, she's unpacking the last box, and she's like, "We're finally unpacked." And he's like, "We've lived here for 4 years." And she's like,
"We are officially."
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, the shadow in the background, her original headdress, like, I really hope we get that.
That's the only reason I could think that shadow would be there, is that by day, they're just your normal American family. Yeah. But by night, they're heroes and they must save the world.
They're literally listening to the radio scanner.
Catherine Hahn is like, "What's going on over there?"
Nothing, Catherine, go back in your...
Yeah, like a dentist the man. Yeah, super cool. The TV and the poster, it's like glowing red, and it's like casting color on them, I think is one of the things you noted. And somebody on Instagram, when I posted it, said that if you look in the photo in the background, it reminded them of Kang.
It does have his color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
It's green and purple with the little like blue tinges in there.
Yeah.
Which, that's Kang the Conqueror.
So, yeah, another thing fans are saying is like either the bad guy is either going to be Mephisto or Nightmare. And Nightmare is rumored to be the villain for Doctor Strange. So this could definitely set up Nightmare.
Doctor Strange could, dang it, I'm going to do this super, super fast. Doctor Strange could like already be fighting Nightmare. Nightmare's like kind of just going through the multiverse. He ends up kind of like stopping here for whatever reason. And then at the end of it, like something happens that alerts Doctor Strange, right, that's where he is. And Doctor Strange shows up at the end, and that starts the movie.
Did we already say that Emily Van Camp, who plays Sharon Carter, is going to be in the show? She's on the IMDb page.
That's what I was seeing earlier. Is like they've got the guy that's going to play U.S. Agent and Emily Van Camp, who's Agent 13, Sharon Carter, listed on the IMDb page
for WandaVision. So they're in it.
They're actually, well, not necessarily. Sometimes IMDb can get it wrong, especially at the very beginning. But they are definitely in the next one we're going to talk about, which is Fandom. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You said Falcon.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's a new poster for that and some casting news that Wyatt Russell is going to play U.S. Agent. And the premise, there's no official synopsis for this. If you want to hear there is an official synopsis for WandaVision, go to the Broken Pictures Instagram page, and there is a post on that, and you can read it there. Or you can just Google it yourself.
Kind of hope he bulks up just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is kind of a thin dude.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like a Captain America replacement, right?
Yeah, because U.S. agent or Captain America, there's 3 different versions of him. One time he's U.S. agent, the other time he's like Captain America's replacement, but he has Captain America's powers. Like he has peak physical ability. He can run like 30 miles an hour and like catch up to a car that's not going super fast. Peak physical human strength. Like he's a Captain America clone basically. But so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and Bucky has those same powers too, right? Winter Soldier.
He does. I don't know about. I mean, he does, but he doesn't, because they didn't make
it seemed like he did.
He'd make it seem like he did, but the only thing that they really showed in Civil War was him just kind of being brainwashed.
Well, no, not necessarily, because remember they had that team.
Yeah.
And they were like doing the super soldiers on.
Okay, then maybe I think, but yeah, okay. Well,
and
that's
just the whole
thing.
thing. Well, he did catch Cap's shield with his metal hand, so
it's iffy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, the supposed premise for this going around is that it's going to be some kind of buddy cop thing, with more Falcon and Winter Soldier shenanigans, but also add in the fact that Falcon is dealing with the huge responsibility of being the next Cap, even though Anthony Mackie, who plays the Falcon, said that his character will never be the next Captain America. He'll always be Falcon. So that raises some issues, even though on the poster he's wearing the full Captain Falcon gear, right?
Yeah, he is.
And Bucky's got a short haircut, so we're back to like old school Bucky.
Old school Bucky. With an assault rifle.
Yeah, if he wears like a little raccoon mask type thing, that'll be
so
done.
perfect. But no one wears masks in the MCU.
Yeah. So yeah, so he's supposed to be dealing with this heavy responsibility, but either the government or SHIELD, Sokovia Accords maybe, are not cool with him being the new Cap. They don't accept it, so they create U.S. Agent as Cap's official replacement. And this could even get into like some Dark Avengers stuff.
It could get into some Thunderbolt stuff. Because I could definitely see Ross just being like, no, you're not Captain America. He is.
Yeah.
And then like they fight over the shield, and then U.S. Agent at the end of the fight just flips it up, catches it, and walks off. Gang. Yep, that's it. That's the show. Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, also Sharon Carter is going to be in this, who played Agent 13. Like one of the big fan questions is, are they going to talk about the fact that Cap kissed his niece?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Before he went back in time and stayed with Peggy and everything.
Nope, because this is Disney.
Yeah. They get into some political thriller stuff. So I mean, that's probably what, like each one have got their own genre or whatever. So that could be where they're living in that realm. Of course, let's see, the new Black Widow poster is super cool. There was a teaser, like a sizzle reel, that showed her in a new white costume that everybody's kind of freaking out about. It's really cool.
And David Harbour from Stranger Things is going to be Red Guardian in Black Widow. So pretty excited to see that.
Who could be another Thunderbolt character.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and they're potentially setting up another Black Widow, because this is going to be a prequel type. Not really a prequel, but it's good back in time. This is before all this. Yeah.
Whatever the name of the planet was, I forgot the name of it now. Start with a
Budapest.
No, not Budapest. The planet she threw herself off a cliff on.
Valmore.
Was it Valmore or Val Kilmer
or something?
Val
like
Kilmer?
Yes, you are correct.
I'll be the Huckleberry. So yeah, and I mean, of course, we're curious to see if she will somehow be saved in this movie and move forward and still be the Black Widow. But it looks like they're potentially setting up another Black Widow to take the mantle from her moving forward.
Disgust.
She's just sitting on a rock telling Red Skull a story.
She is Red Skull. She comes back and just
You'd
like
think
has
they'd come
his
back
body.
for me. Always cleaning up after these boys.
Probably. Something like that.
So we got to move fast. Is there anything else you want to say about that?
No.
Cool.
The new Disney Plus series that as far as I can tell, don't have a release date. I'm not sure if they're going to be Phase 5 or added on to Phase 4, but we're getting She-Hulk, we're getting Moon Knight, and we're getting Ms. Marvel. We talked a little bit about Captain Marvel before. She has to be in this show, at least in some capacity, and Ms. Marvel, because Ms. Marvel is a fangirl of Captain Marvel. That's why she calls herself that, right?
Yep.
I have a question. She calls herself Miss Marvel, but it's not MISS. It's
Ms.
MS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dot. Is that significant of anything?
No.
No, just
She
that
just thought it
She's
was
a
cool.
teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very Peter Parker-esque.
So why wouldn't it be Miss MISS?
I don't know, because it looks
better.
Oh,
And they do the S as like the lightning bolt type thing.
Yeah.
just wondering.
Because
Okie-dokie.
in the comics, she's a teenager, and she's Islamic. And her powers are different from Captain Marvel's in a lot of ways, because she's basically a girl version of Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, but hers are like they call them like beginning powers or something like
Yeah.
that. They're not really stretchy.
Because she can
different,
just like grow her hand out and make it big, and she can make her whole enlarge her whole body and make herself giant and just go whop on somebody if she really wanted to.
Mm-hmm. So she doesn't really just like stretch over to there. Like she just makes her hand big and then picks it up. And so it's slightly different. It's an interesting take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And there's an actress from Spider-Man Far From Home who was technically the first Muslim character in the MCU, who was one of Peter Parker's classmates. And I don't know if she was named in the titles or anything like that, or in the end credits. But everybody is kind of, especially Boss Logic, is trying to get everybody is trying to get Kevin Feige on board to cast her
As Miss Marvel?
as Ms. Marvel. And she's about the right age. I mean, she's a little bit older, but she's still playing a high school student.
Yeah.
You know, if she were to move to San Francisco or whatever,
It
LA.
can happen.
It's San Francisco, right? Where she's
Yeah, San Fran.
Yeah. So, and if she met Venom over there, it'd be interesting. And that's how she went back to Peter Parker. I was just making it a big verse. But yeah, she's reposting all this stuff. Of course, she's trying to jockey for the role. Who wouldn't be? But yeah, super cool. She looks the part too.
I'm trying to figure out who she is. So I'll have to do some more research.
I follow her on Twitter. I'll look her up.
What's the name of the thing? She-Hulk. That was it.
Yeah, She-Hulk. So this gets into some nitty-gritty details about rights issues, because one of the reasons Hulk doesn't have his own movies is because the rights to Hulk the distribution rights to Hulk belong to Universal. And before Disney bought them, before they became their own studio, they didn't have a distribution platform, so they used Universal for the Ed Norton Hulk, which was technically the launch of the MCU. But Disney Plus is a streaming digital platform, and it's a TV series, so they can do She-Hulk and they could potentially do Hulk. But another question is, and they probably won't do this just because of beef with Sony, but Sony only owns the film rights to Spider-Man, not the TV rights.
Don't do it to them.
And that's another thing that getting into the nitty-gritty of the Sony deal is they're trying to move forward on a live-action TV series with Lord and Miller for the Into the Spider-Verse, like different versions, live action. They're going to have to get that permission from Disney to move forward on that, but they are all in on trying to do that. So, yeah, leverage.
Playing tug of war.
For sure.
Man. Well.
So yeah. So I mean, She-Hulk. A little history. Jennifer Walters. She is a lawyer.
She's a lawyer. Bruce Banner's cousin.
And she, when she's hulked out, she is in full control.
Yeah.
She is Bruce Banner's husband.
Because she got her power.
Cousin, not husband.
Oh,
that's a whole different
y'all are confusing me, really.
She got her powers differently than Bruce did. Because Bruce, in a chair, gamma radiation, all that. She was like Hulk was fine. It happens in different versions, but it's mostly all the same way. She was caught in a accident of some sort, whether it be like she got kidnapped because somebody found out that Bruce Banner, who was the Hulk, had a cousin and his cousin was there, and so kidnapped a cousin.
Because comics.
Because comics. And she gets hurt and needs a blood transfusion. Bruce is like, I don't want to, but I don't want you to die. So he transfuses, his blood into her, and then she's like, oh, well, I feel fine, until it's like, what's going on? Snap, my clothes don't fit anymore. And
oops.
She can She-Hulk out. There's some points in time, there are some comics where she's just She-Hulk the whole time, and like that's just how she is. But she does have full control. Like, she talks normally. She's just big and green, and has to get custom clothes.
Yeah, and so there is some, not dispute, but I read a little bit about it, because in some versions, she's just like a normal comic character. But in some versions, she was Deadpool before Deadpool was Deadpool. Like, she breaks the fourth wall and makes commentary and all this stuff. So they could go either way, or even when Deadpool comes in, have her meet him, and then that could be her epiphany. It was like, I can do this, and then move from there. That would be really cool to do that way.
Or while he's talking to the audience, she's like, "What are you? Oh, snap! There are people over there."
And then from that point on, she does her own thing, right?
Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that would be a cool intro for Deadpool too, because if they do it to where without involving him and she just does that, they're going to be, they're just taking that from Deadpool. Yeah. Because people aren't really familiar with her character.
And then, Deadpool could flirt. Or get punched in the chest. And that'd be fun.
She can flirt with him.
For sure.
But he's always the flirt.
So, I mean, this also is kind of like getting into the whole Sony deal. I mean, because a lot was set up with Spider-Man Far From Home and all this kind of stuff, and it's almost like they have to work out a deal. Otherwise, how are they going to explain these people going on without these elements? So basically, some characters need a lawyer, and there were, when Far From Home first came out, they were saying there was a leak that Daredevil would be introduced in Spider-Man 3. Because characters need a lawyer. But She-Hulk could also be the lawyer. So, and even potentially them going up head to head in the courtroom, where one side
in
is...
the courtroom.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? In the courtroom.
Did I say it like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
so they, one side is on each side. And they really build her up as a character before that.
I think I actually somewhere have a comic where Daredevil and She-Hulk were actually like in a courtroom arguing against each other, and like they had to leave because Kingpin did something, but I can't. But yeah, I feel like I've already seen it, but I would like to see it.
I've heard that they've gone head to head together.
Yeah, and they're both really good lawyers. So, except she makes more money than he does, like a lot more money than she does.
Yeah, because he always takes on the
pro bono
stuff. So that would be really interesting to bring in that element and really shine a light on that side of the heroes rather than their hero lifetime thing. And
it's mostly property damage and things.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, of course, we better get Mark Ruffalo at some point during this series.
What's property damage?
Huh? Their cases. It's mostly property damage.
Daredevil?
Like the cases, the characters they have when they have.
Well, that works out great because remember I know that they're scrapping all of the Daredevil from Netflix and stuff, but the lady that they liked or whatever that they tried to save, the apartment complex was being messed up.
Oh yeah.
And you get into Spider-Man 1 with the
Vulture.
The Vulture.
And all his, and cool.
Yeah. So what was the name of the company that Tony Stark had that was doing the cleanup and all that kind of stuff?
I can't remember the name of that company.
The one that Michael Keaton was in charge of.
The one.
No, he got competition.
Lost his job to them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that could get into that and really explore that element of it.
And Tony's dead now.
She could even represent the Vulture, possibly. Yeah, if things go, the way we're hoping. But yeah, so
Damage control.
yeah, damage control. So okay, this one also gets into Moon Knight. Like, how are they gonna do this character on Disney Plus? Because it's very dark, very violent. It's kind of like a mystical Batman type character, right?
Mm-hmm. They'll probably do Moon Knight on Hulu. I would think, or they'd tone it down like a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's it's like close to as far as gritty goriness next to Blade.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that could be their push on Hulu with Blade, Moon Knight, and even potentially, if the Sony thing works out, Morbius, Venom,
Yes. Could be. We'll see.
All of your dark heroes and villains on.
I need to see who they're gonna get as Moon Knight first. I don't think they've announced it yet.
So real quick, what are some casting ideas that you have for She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel? Of course, we talked about a little bit about Ms. Marvel, and these Ms. Marvel, they're going to probably do a lot like they're doing with Shang-Chi and Black Panther, where they're going to hire and cast a lot of Muslim people. I know Mindy Kaling is supposedly involved in the Ms. Marvel thing from The Office.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody mentioned maybe Tina Fey as She-Hulk. I don't know how that would.
No,
that would be funny, but
it'll be funny, but no.
When she's not She-Hulked out, but I mean, of course, they could just make a bigger, stronger CG version. That would be hilarious to me, but I don't know enough about the character to do a casting for that. But
she's younger than Bruce. She's like not like a lot younger, but she's younger than Bruce. Yeah. I really can't think of anybody for She-Hulk right
Who was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. played Mockingbird?
Oh, man.
You think maybe she's a big lady?
The one who played Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah. Then yes.
She's on...
if Seth MacFarlane won't let... Not Seth. Yeah, if he'll let her go.
Was the
Orville?
Orville. She's on Orville now.
She is. And I like her in that.
Can y'all keep on one thing? I'm trying to find this lady. Who? This lady?
Yeah. Adrienne Palacki.
Yeah. She could do it. She's a New Yorker, I think. Maybe.
Oh, I know her.
Yeah, she could definitely be a good She-Hulk.
She could.
And she's already been in Marvel properties. She got connections.
And
originally she was supposed to get a spinoff show from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where her and the French guy, the British
English
guy, they were supposed to get a spinoff show where they like their misadventures and love interest type thing, and that never happened. So they might make it up to her.
Well, she played Wonder Woman.
Ooh.
For a little blip there.
The Adrienne Palacki lady.
When did she play Wonder Woman?
She played Wonder Woman in the one with Carrie Ells.
The one that didn't really go
Elizabeth
anywhere.
Hurley and them.
Oh snap! Are they gonna get her to be TV Wonder Woman for a minute?
Mm.
I mean,
Crisis on Infinite Earths could be.
There was somebody I was thinking in my head that could be
I can't think of
She-Hulk, right, and now it's all gone. Oh, I remember. Hold on. Hold on.
Can I talk about Moon Knight while you look that up?
All
right. So we talked a little bit about Moon Knight before, where possibly Rami Malek or Oscar Isaac, I think you mentioned.
Yes.
But it looks like they're going to go like with a Jewish actor, a Jewish background, because his character is Jewish. Even though I think it wasn't like an Egyptian god that gave him his powers or whatever. And Rami Malek could definitely pull off the multiple personality thing and the craziness and all that.
Super easily.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch Mr. Robot.
What if Gwendolyn Christie grew her hair out? She's a big woman.
Yeah.
They could just paint her green.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just like throw some bean grain on her. Green paint on her.
Yeah.
She could be She-Hulk.
Not my favorite, but I like it.
I think she can do sexy and like.
Yeah.
I would love to see her in a different role. Like, because we haven't seen her in
type of role.
anything other than Game of Thrones, really. So, like, she might have
Star
some
Wars.
huge versatility.
For like 3 minutes. in
Exactly.
time.
We didn't even see her.
She did a Vader
And half the time
breathe.
she had a helmet on.
Yeah.
You will fail. No, like what? Like, why did they make her? Let's not. I'll say that for
so
later.
we really need to move on with this subject. So Moon Knight, I did hear. I was watching Den of Geeks, or Den of Nerds. Sorry, shout out Den of Nerds, because I watched a lot of their live coverage on this kind of thing, and they were mentioning some interesting takes on this. Some people said Shia LaBeouf
For Moon Knight?
for Moon Knight, just because, like, somebody
If you're
said,
going to do that, you might as well do Michael Cera.
no, because like somebody was saying that I could see him walking out on stage and be like, Mark Spector's got a lot of issues. I can relate.
Yeah,
But and supposedly Shia LaBeouf is back on the right path now. So, well, I don't know.
he has
but-
a movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Couple new ones. Peanut Butter Falcon and some other one.
One about his life.
Yeah, which is I think Peanut Butter Falcon is like a loose version or something. Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, there was a couple more. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, potentially, who really has the acting chops. If he beefed up some.
Does. And he can.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if he feel like it though.
We've seen him in some pretty good action sequences, like with
Yeah.
Inception,
Looper.
Looper.
Oh, shotgun in my chest.
Mm-hmm. I liked Looper a lot, so. I did not believe that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I still don't believe that that's him. They got his stunt double and are portraying it like it's him. It's not actually him.
But yeah, I mean, comment below. What do you guys think? Who could play Moon Knight? Who could play She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel?
All right.
So number 3, I told you, here it comes. D23 Star Wars news, and there was a lot more Marvel news, so hopefully we can stay within our time limits on this. So let me read off just some of the things that we got. We got a Mandalorian trailer. We got the official announcement for Obi-Wan Kenobi that it will be a series on Disney Plus. The Cassian Andor series, I don't know that we got a whole lot other than, I know it was mentioned, but I'm not sure what we got on that. Excuse me. We got an announcement that Clone Wars will have its final season in 2020. Which, didn't Clone Wars go? We can get it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And we got a new sizzle reel / teaser for Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Sorry, I keep saying the Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker, and that's I think where the bulk of this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
This
It
talk,
is.
yeah, because the internet is freaking out.
I thought the Mandalorian looked kind of good.
Oh, Mandalorian's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of potential of another thing I was watching about Den of Nerds. Shout out. They were talking about a lot of the theories on this and that kind of thing because I'm not really versed in the novelizations or the comics or anything outside of the films. A little bit of the lore and that kind of thing, just because I've talked with people and friends and stuff. But apparently the guy who did Clone Wars, I can't remember his name.
The movie or the show?
The show.
Okay.
Who basically co-creator of Ahsoka.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Who's
him.
also the creator of Rebels.
Oh, Rebels. Okay.
Yeah.
So he apparently him and George Lucas sat down and created this character. George Lucas was telling him what he wanted to do with the character and the idea, and he drew her up, and George Lucas was like, boom, that's her. And so he is supposedly severely protective of her and
Of who?
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Okay.
Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker's apprentice.
Yeah. And he's protective of where she fits in the lore too, and not to disrupt anything that's already come, because apparently there was some point where somebody was saying that's what it was, because she works a lot with Anakin, obviously, because she's his apprentice. And there was some talk of having her kind of redeem him, and he was like, no, Obi-Wan does that, or Luke does that. we're not doing that because we're not making her more important than she should be. This is where she should be. This is where she fits in. We're gonna move in where we can, but we're not changing.
Yeah, no.
We're not retconning things, like that's
I
like
can
Luke is
respect
the
that.
best. That's what makes him the best because he did that. Nobody else could, and we're not gonna steal that.
She even tried in Rebels and almost died. Like, she fought Vader, found out it was Anakin's like, I'm not leaving you again.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, then you will die. But if it wasn't for time travel, she would have died. So.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so she is an extremely important character in the overall story because she's one of the Jedi that got away from Order 66, but she's not mentioned in the movies at all. However, Catherine Kennedy, who is over Lucasfilm, hooked I cannot think of his name. The creator up with Jon Favreau, and they really hit it off. And Jon Favreau is the one that's doing The Mandalorian. So they're saying that it's possible that he's been wanting to do a live action Ahsoka, and this could be the time
for it. That's cool.
Yeah, that she might make an appearance in The Mandalorian at some point.
When is the time frame of The Mandalorian? Is it like during the Galactic Civil War, or is it the years after that? Before
the years
7.
It is after Episode 6.
Okay, so it's that gap before the First Order shows up.
Yeah, and we were talking about this before, and you even mentioned the Battle of whatever, and I said no, but that was actually it when I looked it up. So I can't remember the battle.
Oh, snap. You
Sorry,
said the battle of, there are like 3 battles in my brain now.
Yeah.
Jakku? Not Jakku. The one where this big old giant Imperial fighter just in the middle of the ground?
I know by name, but...
Crit?
No, it wasn't
Nope.
Crit. Anyway, so... it looks like the Boba Fett story that got nixed was kind of spun into this.
Okay.
And we could even potentially, now that Ewan McGregor is on board, I think they're already filming season 2. They're working on season 2, and season 1 is in the bag, and it will, as far as I know, will be released with the Disney Plus when it starts.
So much stuff to watch.
Yeah,
I know, right?
And also Ming-Na Wen, who was the voice of Mulan and Agent May from Agents of Shield, has also signed on for The Mandalorian. So I'm super excited about that.
She's gonna kick stuff.
Yeah, she's a badass.
And make a lot of noise because she fights in true ninja style where she's like, I hate watching her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's like a tennis match. I cannot stand it.
May 15 love.
Super excited for that going forward, and so potentially maybe even season 2 we might get some Ben Kenobi in there too.
If so, the Mandalorian, if it's after episode 6, definitely he'll
not
be a
Kenobi.
ghost,
Yeah.
but Ahsoka. So at the end, okay, all right, time out. All right,
It might have.
at the end of Rebels.
Sorry.
At the end of Rebels, Ahsoka and I can't remember her name. It's not important, but Ahsoka is what looks like to be a gray Jedi. And she went to go find Ezra, who sacrificed himself to defeat Thrawn, and they're like in the giant space whale's mouth. So that she has to go find them. But regardless, we know she's alive after the Battle of Endor, and we know that she has other adventures and there's other stories. Like the true conclusion of Rebels could tie in to the Mandalorian if they really wanted it to. Because they have like a greater destiny that doesn't involve the Skywalker saga.
The Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Said the series will take place 5 years after the events of the Return of the Jedi. Follows a lone Mandalorian gunfighter beyond the reaches of the New Republic.
Bet, let's go. They're in the Outer Rim.
Yeah, it's gonna be legit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. A lot of fun stuff going on. and really fleshing out the lore. And Pedro Pascal playing the Mandalorian character is like, he's a great actor. I can't wait to see.
And he seems like a really fun person too on the walk at the red carpet. He went up behind Tiki Waititi and like pretended Taika Waititi, whatever. I always say it wrong.
Taika Waititi.
But he went up behind him and pretended broke his neck and he fell on the ground. And it was really funny.
Yeah. Because Taika Waititi directed some of the episodes.
Cool.
Yeah. So, super cool. All right. So, Obi-Wan series officially a go. We talked last week about some of the things we could get into with that. And I did say a shout out to you. And I said, if you have any more questions about where it could go, what's going on with that, Quin is the one to talk to because he knows so much more about that than I do. Yeah, so we're getting Clone Wars returning for season 20, final season in 2020.
And that's a cartoon.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't Clone Wars go away when Disney bought Lucasfilm and it kind of like it was up in the air or something?
So the last season, season 7, which is the final season, season 6 was picked up by Netflix, and it wasn't that long of a season. But after it went away. But that at the end of that season, which I thought it was the end by the way it ended, one of the clones found out about the inhibitor chips in their brain and Order 66, but Palpatine found out that clone knew before that clone could tell, and anybody was trying to tell Anakin, and then he's got killed. Like Anakin was like, "Wait, don't shoot him," and they were like, "Pew!" And it's like, yeah, right in dude's chest.
Woo.
So.
I thought you said rude.
That too.
Like, yeah, a little bit.
So yeah, because there's actually a lot of clones that were like that found out about Order 66, or they were able to like ignore it because of they found out about the inhibitor chip.
It's essentially like when becoming sentient is like the equivalent, right?
Yep.
Like they kind of get it.
Because there was one clone that wanted to try to stop his accelerated aging. So he like just did a whole bunch of research about clones and how they were made and why they're the way they were. He found out, oh, why do we have this in here? I'm just gonna take this out because it's a little biochip. And then he's like, well, I'm still growing old. I don't know how to stop that though.
Right, because they were aged up to become clone warriors.
Yep. And so after
soldiers.
That's why I'm like
Star Wars Episode 2.
Yeah. And that's why in episodes
I had to rewatch all this.
4, 5, and 6, they're not clones. They're just people that they recruited from around the galaxy.
Yeah, because they aged out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of, let's get into Rise of Skywalker. I did it again. Rise of Skywalker teaser / sizzle reel that pulled on all of our heartstrings, showed some of the greatest hits throughout there, up until a couple new flashes. Of the new episode 9, closing out the Skywalker series.
I was trying to make she flipped her double to a long.
Oh yeah,
I was trying to do that with my arms.
So yeah, J.J. Abrams come back on board to finish out the Skywalker saga. The untimely death of Carrie Fisher in 2016. They're going to use some footage that wasn't previously used. However, JJ said that Leia, Carrie Fisher, will be the heart and soul of episode 9. And she was supposed to have a huge role going forward in this episode. And so we'll see where that goes. And we did see a little bit of her in this teaser in like a jungle background or whatever, and then we see Rey like throwing a lightsaber and boomeranging it back to her, and it looks like cutting a tree down in the process, and it looks like it's in the same environment, so it could be potentially Leia training her, because I want to say I think somebody said in the novelization of Return of the Jedi, they did confirm that Leia did receive training from Luke, like Jedi training or something. And of course we saw, Mary Poppins, Leia in The Last Jedi. And that upset a lot of fans, seemed kind of come out of nowhere. But so it of course she's still got the tomes, the books of the Jedi tomes. So she's studying all this ancient knowledge and all this stuff. And
Right, we're back to Rey.
Right. Rey has and she's got Force Ghost Luke training her, as well as possibly Anakin, Yoda,
I'm gonna say no on
Kenobi.
I'm gonna say no on Anakin.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think Anakin's still just chilling with Kylo.
We're gonna get into that.
Okay.
And she's being trained by Leia, so she's got a team of Jedi training her, which is I'm so happy to finally see some training montage with Rey, because
it's like, girl, you ain't good.
Mm-hmm. And some of the theories are looking like they might redeem that aspect of Rey, of like why she's the special. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What a good movie.
So so we get let's talk about C3 pissed off real fast. Sith 3PO. Red eyes.
Cepius.
Cepius. So apparently Anthony Daniels said, who plays CPO at the CPO? Sorry. CPO! Sorry, my voice is all hoarse, so I feel like I need to do that. Sorry. I'm just enjoying my own presence too much at the moment. So Anthony Daniels said something to the effect of, I've told everybody for so long, nobody listened, and I'm tired of it. So, what do you think is going on? Is some reprogramming, some hidden programming you didn't know about?
Probably some hidden programming. We'll say hidden programming.
Yeah, kind of like R2 had that he didn't know about.
So
interesting.
Because they wiped their memory at the end of episode 3,
right?
So
which is why they didn't remember Kenobi or anybody.
So there could be some like war protocol that's in there that could have been activated by accident. Under like Anakin programmed, like under these certain circumstances, you rip arms off. So
like a Baymax ninja moves.
Yeah.
On Nerdist, that's where I got the C3 pissed off thing. They were saying that it's hard to recognize if that was 3PO because of other times J.J. Abrams has put a red attachment onto 3PO. Because in the first one, he's like, if you don't recognize me with the red arm. But that's funny. Could it, like some people are saying, it's the Sith possessing the robot, or it doesn't make
That's
sense.
Weird.
It seems more likely that it's some kind of programming, right?
Yeah.
You think?
Or maybe Rey is just asleep and she's so scared that people are going to come after her that she dreams that he's evil and coming after her. She wakes up, she's like,
you might have to say that again because you weren't in the mic.
Nah. Wasn't very good.
Just turn up the volume.
What else? What else there's in that?
Oh, there's just the little things, dark side Rey or something maybe. But we're not going to talk about that. That's dumb. We're just going to keep going. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
So this is huge, obviously. So of course there is not opposing opinions. There's different opinions. Is this actually a dark side Rey, or is this a vision? Because I'm getting a lot of this from Den of Nerds and just speculating on my own and stuff too.
It really sounded like you went like Den of Nerds instead of Den of Nerds. I was like, what?
Yeah, shout out to that channel. It's a great channel. Go watch them.
Den of Nerds.
So
you don't do that, missed opportunity.
Den of Nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that should be our intro with the little Batman. Den of Nerds. All right, Den of Nerds, do that.
Dark side Rey. Where is she? Oh no, right. Your thing. What's your thing first?
So there is precedent set for dark side visions, right? And because in the OG one we see Luke like when he went into the cavern, he saw a dark side version of himself in in Vader's mask when he killed Vader and all that kind of stuff. So it could potentially, this is where you could go. She could be seeing that, or Kylo said and she's had Force visions before, so this could be her, oh my gosh, I can't, So in The Last Jedi, Kylo also said, I saw you joining me. So this could be a retroactive of what he saw in The Last Jedi, why he was so confident that she would join him because he saw this or whatever.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So and also there is, I want to say it was like Yoda or something that was taught in The Last Jedi talking to, and a little tidbit. I love the fact that there was a lot of things wrong with The Last Jedi. There was some things that was good, but I love the fact that J.J. Abrams is going to come back and make it work.
Cool. And
make it relevant. You know what I mean? To where it fits cohesively and not just seems to go off in the left field and then comes back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to say there was a conversation where Yoda said something about like, we lost Anakin. We can't lose her.
He did. I think he said something along those lines. But I still have my running theory of who Rey actually is. Mm-hmm. I still think she's a clone.
That's a variant of that is my favorite one. Is my favorite theory.
Now that you said that and that Kylo Ren line, I'm like, okay, what if this Rey's still Rey, but there's another Rey, and it's an evil clone Rey,
or the original Rey,
and this one we got is a clone
because the Emperor has been in the outer regions building power.
Wow.
And the Sith troopers that have been a recent thing, right?
They're hers.
They could potentially be Rey, or she is a female clone of Anakin with Force powers.
I was thinking, I'm still like, how do they get, he obviously has Anakin's DNA, or he had delay, or when
which
Vader
explains why she's so good at every damn thing she does, right? And because she is a literal clone of the one, the one to bring balance and power back to the Force. Also, Kerry Russell's character is a bounty hunter or whatever, so she, like, with the rhyme and balance that George Lucas likes in the series, right? She could be the Jango Fett of this clone series, and kind of took a liking to one of them and took it away before it could be corrupted or trained up or whatever. And that's who Rey is. She is the only one that is on the light side. And
then she left the clone there. It's like, hey, stay here. I'll be back. They went out. Boom! Didn't come back.
Right, because it is confirmed that the ship that we saw in Force Awakens leaving is Kerry Russell's character's ship.
Who's Kerry Russell again?
She's in The Americans. She's in...
Okay.
Yeah, so cool. They've been kind of hush-hush about her character. So, back to what you were saying about you think Anakin is like hanging out with Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Emperor is not necessarily... I think he's haunting the mask because the mask is a relic.
It's a Sith relic.
It's a Sith relic.
Yeah.
But I think because if we, like in other scenes, we see him talking to the mask. Vader, help me. The Emperor is manipulating him, making him think that he's Vader, but he's not.
Because he knows Vader. He created Vader, which would mean why he would have that connection to the mask, even still.
Which is why he's got his own clone.
And he's gonna send
in the outer region, building power, and then we get the First Order versus the new Empire. Trying and then Rey and Kylo kind of have to join up to beat the Emperor because he's this big imbalance in the Force. That's my favorite theory.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that too.
I want to hear.
Okay.
I want to hear you.
If my other one, if it gets like super extra weird, and there are like other blend ends of timelines, or if it is happens to be another vision, like when we saw that, Rey, and she had the lightsabers out and then flipped it out, she was in a snowy wood that looked like super familiar, and I think she was on Starkiller base, but it was in the past, but on the same, it was a parallel timeline, and things are gonna cross over and get weird because, honestly, I feel like every other little major thing that's been introduced in like Clone Wars, Rebels, some of the newer comics that's come out with Vader and things, they're all gonna play a part in this somehow. Because J.J. Abrams is like, that stuff's weird, but I can probably use this other stuff to help this stuff make sense, and everything end up coming together in one point. It's like, yeah, this is Star Wars.
Yeah, and he's super good at reverse engineering stuff.
Yeah, so it's a lot of things.
What character did Carrie Russell play? What'd you say about Carrie Russell?
Her character, I don't know the character's name, but it's a bounty hunter.
That makes a lot of sense. I thought y'all were talking about like she was already in Star Wars, and I was not able to picture this, and I was very confused, and it wasn't on her IMDb page.
Right.
I'm understanding now.
Yeah, and also the Matt Smith character, whoever he's playing, because like they first announced him and then like pulled it off and was like, no, he's not in there. And so, but he's obviously in there.
Yeah.
And there's like confirmation and all this kind of stuff, but they're pretending like, oh no, he's not a thing. He's not a thing. So whoever he's playing is obviously a big plot point, so he could potentially be the Emperor clone, because I think the Emperor is dead, but we know
the Emperor has clones.
A ghost version of,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Emperor also has a clone, because that was like one of the things, like the major comics that came out after the Revenge of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, that the Emperor had clones and he was trying to like turn Luke and everything, and like I feel like that's kind of wasted if you don't use that.
And he always had a backup plan.
Always.
Yeah, like Darth Maul was backup plan.
Execute Order 66.
66 was a backup. Like, he's the mastermind of all this.
Bro was having a war with himself. So
he's always got contingencies. Like he's got it figured out. He's playing 5 steps ahead of everybody. And they've already confirmed that the Sith troopers on the outer regions and all this kind of stuff are amassing power in the outer regions was something that also got pulled from Comic-Con. And we even get a little glimpse of like all these Imperial starships, like what's the big V-shaped ones? That's like the big massive ones.
Star Destroyers?
The Star Destroyers. There's a clip. It shows like, all of them come out of hyperspace, and it's like 20 of them or 50 of them. It's a lot. So, something's been, he's been building power in the background for a long, long time.
I remember what I was thinking now. Kylo Ren, when you said way, way back of like the Entertainment Weekly thing, or you said that one of the directors or something. That like Kylo Ren showing images of like him cutting down the Knights of Ren, it would make sense the Knights of Ren turned on Kylo Ren and with the Emperor, that's why he was cutting them down. Yeah.
And what if they took off their masks and they're the actual Rey clones?
What?
And it's not the Sith troopers. The troopers are just more clones of, whatever. But the Knights of Ren are the Rey troopers. And the Rey clone theory also makes sense about what Kylo said about her parents being nobody. Because
and
she's
that
technically
vision
nobody.
She had on that planet. Because the only reason that made me think of it was like she asked to see her parents, but they kept just showing her and all these like endless versions of her.
Yeah.
So I was like,
oh my gosh.
So but that would technically make her a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker.
Okay. Cool.
Why would that make her a Skywalker?
Because she's a clone of Anakin.
She's a clone of
potentially.
Anakin. Or Leia. Or both.
Yeah.
Or all of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Luke. Yeah,
Half
so
of
I mean,
them.
there's crazy possibilities. Also, there was some with the vision. Did I say the vision thing? Like they printed something saying on StarWars.com about the vision of Rey with a double lightsaber,
And then they
a red
changed
lightsaber,
it.
and then they changed it to the sight of Rey. So it might have gave away too much.
Okay.
You know? So it could potentially
Like, who
just
doesn't
be a
proofread
vision.
that stuff?
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah. I mean, Lucasfilm has been known to do that. And it's like, whoa, too much. They're always behind on stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay, I'm good.
you going to say it real quick?
What happened? Who died?
Whatever.
No, you said.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm good.
Just about.
All right,
we've
so
been
hit
talking
us
about.
up in the comments below if you have any more questions on that. I think that's it for us. Once again, thanks for joining us, whether you're on YouTube or podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. If you want to keep the conversation going, like I said, you can comment below. If you want to support the show, go to the website at www.broken.picturesno.com. And Quinn's taking a photo.
I can't. Okay, there we go. All right.
37 seconds.
Okay, we got it. Let's go.
All right. So don't forget that you can also leave us a message if you go to www.anchor.fm/the FOMO Show. And YouTube viewers, please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell icon
Ding.
to get notifications for new videos. And podcast listeners, please leave us 5 stars. And this is Dylan.
I'm Lydia.
This is Quin.
Thanks for joining us.
We did it.
Peace.
Bye.